What's up, everybody? So I wanted to make this. We are on we're on the Gulf of America. We're actually in my hometown, Englewood, Florida. See that structure right behind me? That's where my mom lived prior to moving to Kentucky. Before I left and moved to Gainesville to go to school after graduation. So I got Harley with me. Whoops. Hi. So, lots happened. And I learned a lot from the situation with Plato. I learned more than I probably wanted to about how these systems operating. And, so you guys know we are looking for a Great Dane puppy. Harley is not doing well, so we can't deprive her at 9 of the opportunity to train another friend. So we are going to look for another puppy because Harley needs something to annoy the shit out of her. And Plato did a great job. So, with that said, let me give a summary of where we're going, what we're doing, and everything, a summation. I don't know how I figured out how they did it, and it's interesting that the University of Florida keeps coming back to this situation. University of Florida. So when I got my international bar membership, now I have an international bar membership under the International Court of Human Rights and Arbitration. That's not a civil court. But that international bar membership comes from the University of London under English common law. When I got that, they issued me a Bachelor of Laws from the University of Florida. Okay, and I couldn't figure out why it was so important that I get issued a Bachelor of Laws. I thought it had something to do with the fact that I actually went to University of Florida before I transferred to Liberty University to study law, right? I thought it was studying law. It wasn't studying law. That's why I call it College of Laws. College means business. University means seminary. And there's only 3 subjects in seminary. The 3 subjects are jurisprudence, theology and philosophy, and natural medicine. And we don't have any university seminaries anymore because that's what they all were. The University of Florida was originally a seminary. And maybe that's what I had to have my eyes open to about what happened with Plato. And Plato's situation is not uncommon. People are posting all over the place. These vets are basically, it's highway robbery. And it's not exactly highway robbery. What it is it's exploitation of anything you care about. So if you care about your children, they've got a family law exploitation system. If you care about your faith, they got a 501c3 monetized religion. If you care about your animal, they got a veterinary system that's all under the same premise. And you're all members. So when you take your dog to the vet, you're under this registration. And they're issuing some kind of registered birth system to keep them in an inner system. And then they just exploit you. So it's just it's literally just anything that you care about. If you care about your life, they'll feed you life insurance. If you care about survival, they'll give you a gym membership. They'll sell you all these products, and it's all just anything you care about. That's why you're better off not caring about anything, or you're better off doing what we're about to do. So, here's what's going to happen. I learned a lesson. And it's a big lesson, but it doesn't change the mission. It actually expands its encapsulation. All prescriptions, all medicine, all health, and even vet med has to be put under the equity system and the national healthcare system, because it's something that we care about and we don't trust them. There's a couple things that's happening right now. Listen, we can't do this. I can't do this without your support. And I want to talk about this real quick. So we put out the shares. The shares founded the operational organizations that we needed. That's what the shares were for. So they established the American Republic. They established the American National Republic. They established our United Republic, and they basically facilitated that entire system becoming operational. Okay? When that system shut down, that was the founding of those organizations that are needed to go to the next step. The next step is the frame out, right? To get the trusts and the administrators to you guys directly. Okay? That's the part that when people donate right now, because we're not accepting donations from any organizations or any businesses. Every donation is recorded, and every donation is set. The website is setting up to get people in contact with each other locally. Any donation over $20, what it does, it puts you on a list and it shows where people are, so we can start putting them into these regional areas, and we can get them coordinating to put in their ministerial trusts. What is the goal of the trust? The goal of the trust is to have an administrator that administrates your Social Security trust directly outside of the federal government and outside of the commerce system. That's really what we're doing. We are moving the guard, and this is our ability to appoint our own guards. We are moving the guard from the federal government and the state to a private equity and general law organization that's managed by us, the people, and that system will handle our administration outside of these NGOs and all this other stuff. So that's what that's for, okay? And those donations, that's where that donations are going. But those people are recorded because we're trying to get people localized so that they know where they are in a locality. And the reason that you have to donate to do it is because under I can't remember what the case was. The donation is recognized as a political speech under their law, which means when people donate, you're exercising political speech. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I can't remember the case. I've cited it before, but that's why the donations are important, because it is an exercise of political speech. Basically, we're using the system against them. We're using their system against them. That's how that's working. That's why they can't do anything. Additionally, apparently Donald Trump is going to fire Jerome Powell, and he actually put out that if you want someone else appointed to the Federal Reserve, to tell him, to shout it out loud. I'll post the link. So right now, the First Nations, we're gathering a letter. They're gathering a letter, and the First Nations, who are the tribal nations that are moving all their assets into the American Republic, are actually going to draft a letter to the White House requesting that I be appointed to replace Jerome Powell. It's going to be like a bull in a china shop. I do have a financial background. I learned basically the way I figured out how to put this thing together is because I have a mortgage background. I used to process and originate mortgages. That's how I figured out how all this stuff works. So that's happening. If you think that I should be appointed to replace Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve, go ahead and email the White House. I can tell you that the Federal Reserve, with all the old railroad assets, is going to lose some weight. So if that happens, but beyond that, if that doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. We're still going to continue our mission, and that's how things work, and that's how they are. And this experience with Plato, yeah, it taught me, it made me see things. But we're moving forward. This game is on, and that's where we are. That's the summary of the organization, and they want a war. This is war, and any way you cut it. And I know people get uncomfortable when I say that. This is a war. It's a war against everything you care about and your individual morals and ethics versus their capacity to fill their bank accounts exploiting it. That's the war. And we're about to swing a big fucking sword. So God bless and Godspeed.